So yeah, Tobias, you have seen the talk already, I think, or at least a version of it, because talks are usually different every time I try to give them. The goal of the talk is mainly to give an overview of what JetBrains Rider is, our .NET IDE, and some tips and tricks on how you can work with them. Now, if you leave and you feel like this was a marketing session, then I didn't do my job. So my goal is not to make it into a marketing session, but just to give you some, well, an idea of what Rider is, if you don't yet know. And also give you some tips and tricks on working with Rider. But since Rider is based on ReSharper, those tricks, tips and tricks will also be applicable if you're working with ReSharper. So yeah, let's go. Who of you has been using Rider before? One?
Just testing.
Yeah, okay. So if you have no idea what it is, it's new since almost 2 years already. A cross-platform .NET IDE that you can use on Windows, Mac, Linux, or whatever. It's based on ReSharper for the .NET sites and based on IntelliJ for the front-end part and all the editing part and so on. So it's what you see is basically IntelliJ, but the power beneath it is ReSharper doing things. It's an alternative to Visual Studio and Visual Studio Code and VS for Mac and whatever IDEs are available right now. It's really nice that since 2 years a lot of IDEs came about. And the idea is to really provide an alternative to do C#, F#, VB.NET, ASP.NET, Xamarin, although I will make a little side note in a little bit about that as well. And the idea is to give you all the power that ReSharper has without the bloatedness, so the studio. Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, Visual Studio is nice, and Visual Studio with ReSharper is nice as well, but you always have a little bit of a performance hit, and on some machines it's a real performance hit. And Rider is always nice because it gives you the true power of what you expect from an IDE while still being lightweight is maybe the wrong word, but lighter weight than the other combination here. So let's skip all that. Is every one of you doing Xamarin development?
Mostly.
All right, awesome. There is built-in Xamarin support. It's based on Android Studio, which is another IDE that is based on IntelliJ, and based on AppCode, which is also another IDE based on IntelliJ, to give you some of the Android and iOS features in Rider. That said, I still think that the Xamarin support is quite basic at the moment. I do know that one of our developers is focusing a lot on it for the next version of Rider. So if you have any feedback, email me, reach out to me on Twitter, or if you can remember this URL, that's the place to go and add feature requests or things that you are missing.
The first thing I noticed if I say new project for Xamarin, there's no possibility to use .NET Standard. It's the old shared code or portable class library.
Type it in and go log it.
This is no longer supported yet.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I do have a demo. It actually works, but it is limited right now. So if you have any feedback, if you play with it and you feel this could be better or this is just ridiculous, please let us know.
I get all my projects working with Rider.
That's perfect. Yeah.
And
Could you load the .NET Standard project?
I could load an existing .NET server, but I cannot create it.
Cannot create it. I can.
The reason why I feel it's basic is probably because I'm not a Xamarin developer at all. So I barely managed to get the emulator running and so on, but it works.
You have to use a Mac, and it's
So apart from that, let's just dive in and go through Rider and what it is. That's basically all that I have in terms of slides. So just to give you the overview, this is a Xamarin project that I stole, or at least borrowed, from Glenn, who has already also been here before, I think. And he created a very simple, it's like a blog reader that shows posts and where you can go into the details and so on. But just to give you the idea, it has an Android version and an iOS version. Of course, the iOS version, apart from the coding parts, it won't run on my Windows machine. At least I didn't figure out how it works, and probably due to licensing it's not possible.
And you need to have a Mac as a build host.
Probably.
Is there any connection? I mean, I use a Mac, so I'm not in.
I'll quickly go through that part as well. So if you go to the tools here, you will find Android and iOS.
Okay.
And if you have a Mac agent, you can actually connect to it and run it. But I've never tried it because I don't have a Mac at my disposal. Same thing with Android, you have the AVD manager, SDK manager, and you can even connect to the shell, but these things are borrowed from Android Studio, and then all the rest, basically the compiling of the Xamarin project and deploying it to the emulator and stuff, is also in there and it works. So, just a quick overview. If you're new to Rider, our default is that the Solution Explorer is on the left and not on the right. If that annoys you the first time you try Rider,
no, it's absolutely okay.
Okay.
I also like IntelliJ, so
yeah, perfect.
Perfect.
No, but I've heard a lot of people who have the muscle memory, and I can imagine this if you've been working with other IDs for a long, long time. It can be the muscle memory where you expect this to be on the right. You can actually move these things to a different part of the screen if you want. Also, if you want to do splitting and tabbing and so on, you can split vertically, then you can split horizontally and then vertically again. The reason I'm showing this is because yesterday someone saw that Visual Studio Code introduced something like this, and they were asking like, can I have this in Rider as well? And we're like, it's been in IntelliJ since version 2, I believe. So,
in Visual Studio for Mac, the solution tree is also on the left.
Yeah, it depends, but you can move it if you want. So we have the Solution Explorer. There is also the structure window that you can also move down if you want. It gives you the structure of the class or file that you have at hand. So in this case, just one class with all the fields and methods that I can jump to. The nice thing is, before we dive into the Xamarin parts, every tool window in Rider is searchable. So whenever you have a tool window and something is active, like here, you can just start typing, and for example, if you want to find selected post, which is in there, I can just start typing selected, and you see those two things are selected, and I can immediately jump there if I'm in here. Same thing in the Solution Explorer. If I am in my NetStandard project here and I want to go to my models folder, I can do so and immediately expand and go in there as well. A lot of tool windows are searchable. And also, if you've been using ReSharper, you have Alt-Enter, for example. Also in here, you can just start typing and say, I want to refactor, for example, and you will find all those things. Same thing in ReSharper, by the way, if you didn't notice. I didn't notice for a long time, and then I figured out, like, I can just search and do whatever I want in there. So, yeah, a couple of other things in there, favorites window and breakpoint, bookmarks, and things like that, but we'll cover it later. For the Android parts, and the reason that I want to show this first is because the emulator is running in the emulator. I don't know what they are doing, but it's heavy. So I want to get rid of the emulator for the rest of the presentation a little bit. So one difference with other IDEs in Rider as well is that the running of projects is different. So in here, if we edit the run configurations, you will see that by default something is selected, and that I can run and debug if I want to do this, but I get a choice to select different configurations there. The nice thing is, if I have a huge project with or a huge solution with different projects that I may want to start, I may, for example, choose to start my backend API together with my Android application here, and then I can, for example, create a compound run configuration that starts two of the other configurations. So I can mix and match those things together, which basically makes it easy for me to pick the thing that I want to start and justify and get started with it, without having to redo that every single time I want to start just one project. So let's start the Android application. It will compile and it will deploy into my Android emulator. And sometimes it's ridiculously fast, and sometimes it's ridiculously slow. I don't know if it's normal for Xamarin development. At least it gives you a good time to go and fetch coffee. This is one of the slower times. Right, the build has succeeded, so right now it's deploying to my Android emulator. And in a little bit, the debugger will show up, and I can just step through and do whatever you want to do there.
Are you going to tell us something about WPF later on?
Yeah. I knew that was yeah. I'll maybe do that, or at least part of it, while it is deploying.
No, I think it's starting.
And right now, this is ridiculous.
No, it's starting, huh?
It is starting? Yeah, but my debugger stopped.
No, it's still.
No, the debugger connection
Okay.
dropped out.
But it's installing. Huh?
Let's try again. Anyway, to answer a question about WPF. So, if you look at Xamarin Forms, for example, you can edit your XAML code, you can add buttons, you get completion on, for example, if you want the foreground color, well, no completion for Xamarin Forms. Anyway, you get basic completion and it will validate the XML syntax and all that, but you don't get anything else than this. So that is one of the limited things that we will be working on for the next version of Rider. Having that said, and let's see if this loads. Having that said, if you do regular WPF, we have something for you. So I'll open another solution that I have. We don't have a visual drag and drop designer to just pick something from a set of controls and drop it into your project and then work with that. That said, we do have the XML editor where you can edit the XAML code, you get completion on that as well. So for example, if I want to add a button, you see that I get completion on that. If I have a button, I get, for example, the contents that I can set and set it to tests, or something like that. We do have a XAML preview tool window. So at the bottom here, you will see if you have a XAML solution that you have a XAML preview window where you can see what you are working on. It's not interactive, so if I click, nothing will happen. If I double click, no event handler will be generated, so that doesn't exist. If you have, for example, a tab control and you want to work on the second tab that is not visible by default, you will have to edit your XAML code to make it visible by default to actually see it in action if you want to see it. But other than that, it's quite fast. If you make a small change, you will see that the color changes immediately. I set the background to, let's go with black. That should change immediately. If I add a margin and make it 10 pixels, for example, that should change immediately as well. So that works. Also there, if you have a project that doesn't render the preview, let us know, because XAML is insane. One side note here as well, this will only work on Windows. We have been looking at making it work on Mac and Linux as well, but there's so many dependencies on Windows in the entire WPF stack that it's basically impossible to do.
It also doesn't make a lot of sense because you can you cannot start it on.
The designing may be something that you want to do on Mac, but even
it would be great if you could, for example, deploy it to a virtual machine or something, so I wouldn't have to use Windows at all. That would be,
I mean, if you make a WPF application, you use Windows. Yeah, it's a Windows.
Yeah, but so you may have someone on a Mac who does backend work and then has to go into it. Well, at least you get this part on the Mac as well, just not free.
Yeah.
Right, so that was my WPF application, and right now my debugger is working and my application is working, so that's good. I can now show posts, and I had some breakpoints in there, and you can see that I get a breakpoint, I can run through it, and all those things are there. One thing that you will see with Rider is that we get the call stack and so on. You get your variables, which is a combination of the variables and the watches window. So if I add a watch, I can do that and it will show in the same position. What I think is really nice in Rider is that all my variables will also show in the editor. So if I'm stepping through, I don't have to move my focus to the debugger tool window if I just want to look at the simple values in there, like strings and some object representations, for example.
Can you change at runtime?
You mean edit the code and continue?
No, not the code, but the values of the variables.
Yes, yeah. So if I set this, for example, I have to press the right key, of course. Right. If you start zooming with presenting on that thing, that doesn't work. Anyway, you have, set value can only be done on this thing. So set value or F2, and you can just start tapping it at whatever you want. You also get completion in there, so it's kind of easy to set those things. I'll dive deeper into debugging later on, but just so you get a feel of what you can do there. You can run through and then see the things change and so on. Nice thing is that we also try to zoom in works. We try to make the call stack more readable. So if you have, for example, things like this, where you have generics that are being used, normally debuggers could show you something like T or accent 1 or accent 2 or something like that. We try to give you the actual thing that you wrote in code as well there. So that's pretty much that in terms of Xamarin supports. But you get the coding, you get completion, and those things. I'm going to stop the emulator so I get some resources back. Right. So you've been using Rider, you've tried Rider. Have you been all using ReSharper before?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Nevertheless, I'll still go through some of the basics of ReSharper because there may also always be something that is interesting to you. One thing with Rider is this is the Nancy project. It's huge, but as you see, it loads quite quickly, and I can already start typing and do basic things while code completion is still starting. So even for quick edits, you can already dive in and start doing stuff while things are still loading and parsing and so on. So let's maybe start with some basic navigation. You know Control-T, where you can navigate to something from ReSharper. So I can Control-T. And Control-T in Rider is search everywhere. And by search everywhere, I literally mean everywhere. So if I search for an iView engine in there, I can search it and find the file, I can find the symbols and so on. But if I search, for example, for NuGet, I will also find tool windows and actions that I can execute and settings. So if I want to go to the NuGet settings, I can just search NuGet and there I am.
That's cool.
Another nice thing is that for Boolean settings, like I'll search for enable, that should give me something. I can enable and disable the settings even in this dialog and just toggle the setting that I want to toggle right in there, which gives you easy access to some of the things that are in there. Other than that, the navigation supports searching in non-solution items as well. So if you want to search for some JSON value in JSON.net or something in system.web.extensions or something like that, you can navigate there and find those things as well. It also supports camel humps. So if I search for iView engine, that will work. But if I search for IVE, which are the camel case parts of my class name, it will also find that one, and I can jump there, of course. In here, same thing as in ReSharper, I can navigate to related things or derived types of my iView engine. So if I alt backtick, I can navigate to implementations of this, base symbols, related files, find usages, find reference codes, and things like that. So let's go to implementation, and you will see it finds all the implementations. And also here, I told you you can search in every single tool window. So if I want to search for the Markdown view engine, I can search for MDVE and just jump there without even having to touch my mouse, except for zooming in a little bit. In a class, I can use alt backslash and go to a certain element that is in there if I want. I can also include members from related files. That's really useful if you have a hierarchy of classes and you want to go to base symbols as well that you haven't overridden in there. You can include those and find them as well. By the way, I clicked, but you can also toggle those with alt backslash. Just reissue the commands to enable or disable that option. I can go to my render view. From here, I can navigate back to my base symbol, and I will go back to my iView engine and so on. So all those things are in there, and that's kind of nice to have. I can also navigate to usages. I can do this from alt backtick or just use the shortcut directly. But if I find usages of this symbol, I will get, if there's a lot of usages, if there's only one, it will just jump to the usage. If there's a lot of them, I will get a new tool window where I can see all the usages of this iView engine. And you can apply filters like where is my iView engine being read, where is it being written to, where is it used in a class or in a type or whatever. So you can provide all those options and sort of make your search more fine-grained. Also here, if I search for .liquid, it will also match those things. So again, the tool window is searchable there as well. What else do we have? Oh yeah. Control-Shift-F, find an entire solution. So finding text in the solution is really, really fast. The reason for that is that in Rider we plugged that search into the indexes that we already have of your entire code base. So if you search for some string, right now it was searching for class, but let's search for username. It will find all those occurrences in textual form in my solution. I can use regular expressions, word boundaries, things like that, and find all those things. And even get a preview of the thing that was found, so I can see, was this really the thing that I was after? Right. Other navigation that we have, imagine IEnumerable is a class from the .NET framework. Well, I can control-click, or again, navigate to implementation. And it will navigate to the decompiled version of that class, just like in, well, these are implementations. Let's navigate to the definition. Just like in ReSharper, it will actually compile and show you all those things. The difference with ReSharper is that in Rider, we are actually able to do debugging in decompiled code as well. So if you have decompiled code and for some reason you think that in string, let's open that one because it's a nice and big one. If you think that in string, when you do a string.join, you want to see what happens under the covers, you can just place a breakpoint and then you're going to stop there. No need to configure simple servers and all that. Of course, this is based on decompiled code. If you do want to use simple servers, all those things are also available in the settings. So if you say, okay, I want to use downloaded sources, you can add a simple server and get the actual source code instead of the decompiled version. But anyway, that's the debugging part mainly. What else do we have? Yeah, you can jump to two windows as well. So as you can see, some of the two windows here have a number in front of them. Not all of them. I showed you that you can use Control-T to jump, for example, to the NuGet tool window. But some of the tool windows that are most commonly used have a prefix with a number. So for example, the Solution Explorer has a 1 in front of it. So if I'm here and I type Alt-1, I will jump to the Solution Explorer and I can immediately go to, for example, OWIN and open that project and dive into it. Right. That's a rough overview of navigations in Rider. I think there's many more. So if you all backtick, but if you've been using ReSharper, you already know a lot of these, of course. Right. Inspections and code analysis. Let's do that. I should have a program.cs in my C# project there. Yes. Just like ReSharper, Rider comes with a bunch of code inspections. And I think I didn't, or I did. Why is everything okay in here? Probably because I should compile first. That's strange. Anyway, just like in ReSharper, you should be getting all the squigglies, which could be hints, which could be warnings, which could be errors, or whatever you have in your code there.
Can Rider read the configurations from ReSharper?
Yes. Yeah. So if you have a mixed team with someone using ReSharper or someone using Rider, you can mix the configurations by saving things to the team settings layer. So for example, if you configure inspection severity for some ASP.NET thing, you can save this to a team shared solution file, and that one will also be parsed by ReSharper, and they will get the same settings.
Oh.
Right. And normally my excuse is I'm using nightly, and therefore some things are not working. but now I'm using release version and some things are not working. But I've been using Nightlease for over a month, so maybe I should just validate every cache that Rider has right now and restart so I get a nice new version. And why does the emulator never quit?
You have to, I think you have to press top, not in the emulator window, but in the controller window.
It tried. Oh. So let's start Rider again. And if this fails again, I will use Nightlease from now on. Code analysis is starting. Now, because that's good. Goodbye, emulator. Because I invalidated caches, everything that Rider already knew about my solution has to be re-indexed, so this takes a little bit of time. So anytime you open a new solution for the first time, this step will happen, and other than that, it will be incrementally, just like with ReSharper, for example. Come on.
Ganz kurz.
There we are. That's it there.
Weißt du, wo man das Target umstellt auf, ich habe noch nicht iOS 11.4 installiert, sondern 11.3. Der will aber mit 11.4, man kann das Target umstellen. Weißt du zufällig, wo das geht? Das Target umstellen. Ist ja nicht schlimm. Machen wir gleich beim Bier.
So, yeah, inspections. Now they work. Awesome. It was caches apparently. So, just like in ReSharper, we see dead code. So when you see something that is grayed out, those things aren't used, and I can just Alt-Enter, which gives me the quick fix, and I can remove using unused directives in the current file, or in my project, or in my entire solution. Or if I want to disable this inspection, I can do so, or I can configure severity from here as well, so I don't have to go to the settings, and I can say, for example, instead of warning me about this, it should just be a hint or something like that. You can see that there's different severities. There's hints, which is just like you could do this, but you don't have to do it. A suggestion, which is more like, okay, what you do is not wrong, but it's better practice to do it this way. So it's a little bit more than a hint. Then there's warnings saying, okay, this could potentially break down or go wrong. And there's plain errors where ReSharper will try to catch compile errors and other runtime errors before you actually run or compile your application. So a good example is in this file where you can see the red squiggle underneath the 1000 string. That is because I'm returning an integer and this is string. So I have to update this, and I'm not sure that these are the two best ways to fix it, because convert to int is a little bit stupid there. But you get the idea, you get some quick fixes on how to solve things, and maybe I intended to return a string anyway, so I can do that as well. The better option is, of course, to do this. Now, I told you about hints and suggestions, and apart from just finding things that are wrong in codes, Rider also tries to give you an idea of new features in the language. So, for example, C# 7.3 is almost in Rider now. At least most features are already in Rider, but not all of them have the inspections and quick fixes yet. But for example, when we got lambda expressions for properties, C# introduced those, and Rider will suggest me by graying out the getter here and showing the squiggly underneath return that I can do something there, and I can make this expression bodied property. Learning me on how to improve my codes using the new language features. One thing that I can do here is also do this entirely in my project or in my solution if I want to update all of the occurrences. Now, many inspections also have a why is Rider suggesting this, which is nice because it will open the browser and give you a nice overview of what it means with a nice explanation as well of why ReSharper is suggesting something. Not all quick fixes have this, but most of them have. And I don't know if any of you have been doing Unity development, for example.
Which one, the injection or the 3D one?
The 3D one.
None of us, but yeah, we have.
Yeah. So, and one of the cool inspections that I think that are in there is one that knows about a lot of the internals about Unity 3D. So if you have a class in C#, What they do is they proxy parts of the methods and parts of the properties to a backend C++ thing that is natively compiled. And if you use, for example, direct string comparison using equals, it will be much slower than using a special helper methods that they have. So Rider will suggest using the helper methods, but if you open the explanation, you will also get almost a blog post on why this is happening and why it's important for performance of your application. Right, so I have those things and I can start fixing my project and so on. By the way, all of those suggestions are also language, well, they are available for many languages. And if you want to see which ones are available for every language, you can go to the settings and see, for example, what issues can exist. Not all of them are enabled by default. Maybe you say ASP.NET dead code should be an error instead of a warning. You can adapt all those things there as well. Now, those code suggestions also take into notion the setting of the language in your project. So, for example, if I go to this project, and I set my language version not to C# 7.1, to C# 6. Was that introduced in C# 6? I think it was. If I go back to C# 4, for example, you will see that now I don't get a suggestion to use an expression valid member because that was not available in that version of C#. If I go to a newer version of C#, for example, C# 7.3, I will probably get some other things where I can use other language constructs in there as well. Right, that's a number of inspections. There's a lot of them for language constructs, for XML comments as well. For example, if you have the hello world class here and I have no XML comment there, I should get a nice warning saying that I should be adding inherit doc, so that if I generate documentation from this class, that thing is added as well. This was a suggestion, but if this is important, if you really do technical manuals, for example, and you want that, again, make it a warning or an error and you will see it more clearly. Try not to overwhelm you more than we already overwhelm you when you open a random code base. Good. What else is there? Oh yeah. So Rider has a lot of inspections from its own. Any of you doing web development? Like front-end TypeScript or JavaScript?
Not by myself, but in my project, yes.
If you have someone in your project using those things, you may know that, for example, if you use TypeScript, there's a tool called TSLint, which is a TypeScript-based tool that runs under Node.js and so on, but also inspects your your TypeScript code and gives you additional suggestions on improving that code. You can enable TSLint as well, and it will just integrate in Rider. You will see the same warnings and errors coming from this tool as well. One other thing that we have is rustling inspections. So in Rider, if you want some rustling inspection to exist, or you wrote your own analyzers for your own projects and you want those in Rider as well, actually Rider will pick them up. So if I take NuGet here, for example, and I know there's a date time now analyzer. Still have internet. This is taking a long time. And here I was just going to say that the NuGet client is really, really fast. But of course it depends a little bit on the network.
Probably our network.
Let me actually just use one NuGet feed, so maybe it doesn't have to do so many network calls. Come on. I may retry this at a later point, but for now, believe me that those analyzers will also be picked up and they will just show like normal inspection showing you. The only difference that you will see is that the inspection is prefixed with a light bulb with a small rustling logo, so you know that it comes from there. But other than that, things work exactly the same way. Let's try once more. No luck. Oh well, you'll have to believe me that it's there. Good.
I've seen it.
Yeah. Maybe I should try my Nike again. Anyway, so yeah, those are recognized as well. And the reason why we added that is because a lot of companies actually write their own analyzers, and you just want them to be available. So we try to do that as well. Right, we've had navigation, we've had inspections, quickly. Let's do some coding as well. So imagine that we are writing an application, and in that application I want to have a class called person, typical DTO that I want to have there. What Rider tries to do, just like ReSharper tries to do, is not get in the way of being productive. And that means all that I should be defining is that I have an integer ID, for example, and a property of type string, which is a name. And other than that, Rider should be able to generate constructors and equals members and so on from me, and that is exactly what Rider can do. If you use alt inserts, you will see that you can generate a constructor. Let's do that. I can select the properties that I want to have, some access rights, so I can make it an internal constructor, for example, if I want. I can do null checks or make parameters optional, and just generate the entire thing, and I get this code. Notice that since the language version of my project is C# 7.3, I get throw expressions. If I would undo this and change my language version to C# 6, for example, if I would generate my constructor now, you will see that if I do null checks, I should of course select the properties. If I generate null checks, that those things will be done using a typical null check and then throwing the thing. And fun thing is, if I now go back to C# 7.3, for example, inspections will keep me and suggest me that I can join those things and go back to that thing. So you can round trip there. I can generate other things as well, like a deconstructor. If you're using later versions of C#, you get deconstruction as well, where you can sort of pipe these properties into a value tuple. Well, you can generate that one as well and get those things generated for you. Now, I did some work there where I had to open a dialog and do some things. Many of those code generation things are available as templates as well. So you may know in Visual Studio you have CTOR, which will generate the constructor for you. In here, Rider will recognize that I have public properties, so there's a new template there called CTOR-P, constructor with public properties. And if I invoke that one, I will get pretty much the same, except for the null check. But still, I can check the expression for null and generate those things as well. Right, let's generate something else. Let's generate an equality member. I basically want to be able to compare a person by ID, or ID and name. It has no use in a live application, just to give you an idea. This will generate an equals method for me, as well as a get hash code, and it will also overload the equals operators and not the equals operators. Same thing with relational members. I can compare, for example, by ID. It will generate for me compare to, smaller than, larger than, and those things as well. So I wrote 2 properties, and right now I have 98 lines of code generated by the underlying ReSharper. Right, some other things that are in there. Rider and ReSharper know about some interfaces and some things that you may want to do. So let's, for example, add a new property, which is of type stream, and I want to store the photo of the person in this person class. Typically, if you have a data transfer object, you would probably not add a stream in there, but just for the sake of the example. Stream is iDisposable, so typically that means that my person should also be iDisposable. So I can do that and make it iDisposable. And if I implement missing members, I get this. That's kind of stupid, because Rider actually knows about iDisposable and can generate a dispose pattern for me instead. And it will detect all the disposables in my class, in this case my photo, and I can say, okay, I plan to inherit from this class. It will generate some overloads for disposing inheritors, generate the thing, and it will dispose my photo. Again, based on the language level, because if I use C# 5, for example, this will do a null check instead of using the ls operator there to call it to the dispose method. For Xamarin developers, probably a nice one. And then you're going to say me that you use a framework to do property change notifications and so on, but let's say you want to implement iNotify property changed. Rider knows about this one, and it will allow me to implement iNotify property changed. And instead of just adding the events, which is what is in the interface, it will also add for me a property changed invocation function. The nice thing about this is that now Rider also knows that my person is implementing iNotify property changed. So that means if I alt enter on name, I can make this a property with a backing field, which is a quick fix that is always available. But because I'm now iNotify property changed, I can also make this a property with change notification. And what will happen is it will add a backing field for me, let's call it name. But it will also generate a setter that uses or calls into my own property change methods there, which is really nice to have. Some other things in the editor. So this is some code generation. I can also move code, for example. So let's say I want to select this block and I want to move it up. I can just press Ctrl Shift Alt and use the up and down keys. I can move this thing up and down. I can also move it in. If I use the right and left keys, I can move it into an if block or outside of an if block, for example. And right now, because I returned, I get the inspection that it's unreachable, and I can remove it again. Right, so that's a little bit of the editing. What else is there? There's multiple cursors. I don't know if you've ever had the need for that, but if you have the need for it, you can do it. So let's say I want to have multiple lines where I'm editing. I can hold down the exact same keys again, Control Shift Alt and click, and now I get code completion and multiple cursors and all that. Not very useful in this case. I will show you a place where this actually may be useful. So I don't know if you often have the case where you get something like this, where you get name, age. Tobias, what's your age?
40.
40. Let's add you as well. So where you get a list of values and you have to create, let's say I have to create a collection of them or a new array. Let's say that's a new dictionary of string and int, and I have to add that CSV file that I received in there. So what I can do is just paste it in there. It doesn't compile, of course, but what I can do now is use my multiple cursors and say people.add. There we go, and add my thingy. And for some reason, it's replaced my string. Let's ignore that just for the sake of the example. Add my value there as well. Use the entity. There we go, and I have my entire thing. So it wasn't the perfect example, but you get the idea. It may actually be very useful to do some things. Also, if you have, let's say in ASP.NET you generate a controller and you get all throw notifications, you can just select all of those, wipe the entire line and replace it with returning a dummy view or something like that. So it may be useful in many cases. Right. Let's quickly show a refactoring. So C# and Rider are quite known for their refactorings. There's a menu called Refactor This, Control Shift R. And you can see all the refactorings that are available at a certain point in your code. So for example, if I'm with my cursor on a class, I get a lot of them. If I'm just on some variable, I get less. I can rename the variable and introduce a field or a variable, but that's it. So let's say we have our person and we want to rename the person. We can do that and make it a person, for example. And I can select to search in strings as well. So if I have comments or anywhere where I say to do update the person class, it will make it to do update the person class. It will always show me the usages of my person as well. Apparently I'm using a person somewhere, and it will update the usages as well. I can go back or deselect one of the usages if I'm not interested, or just next, and I get a person, and it's updated throughout my entire application. Now, one of the really cool things, or the really cool refactorings, is the move to project refactoring. So if I do Control-Shift-R, imagine I want to move this person class to somewhere else in my solution, to a different project. Very often that would mean copy-pasting the class there, adjusting the namespace, maybe adding 5 new project references because the thing is now in a different location and so on. So I like this refactoring where I can say move to folder, and I can just select an entirely different project, say for example Nancy hosting ASP.NET. Come on. Hosting self or something like that. Click next. It will tell me what will break. If it can fix it for us, it will fix it for us. But if some things will break, then it will break. But at least it will tell me what will break, so I know that my code will no longer compile in this case. But we'll move it there, and I now have my person. The other one in Nancy hosting self, the namespace has been updated and references have been updated and so on. That's quite a nice refactoring. There's a couple more, just give them a try and find out what they are. Right. You were doing some .NET development, right? Right. ASP.NET MVC, by any chance?
Yes.
Okay. Is it this one? It's not that one. It's the other one. I always name my projects acmecode.web, and I have so many on my system that I never know which one it is. Anyway. ASP.NET, as you or MVC, as you know, has views and controllers and actions and so on, and a lot of helper methods that do something like generating an action link that has a label home goes to the index action method of my home controller. What Rider gives you is code completion on those things as well, so I will get a list of all the controllers that I have. If I am on there and navigate, I can go to the implementation and it will jump to my home controller, even though this is essentially a string. The reason why ReSharper and Rider know this is because it knows about this action link methods and that its arguments take an action and a controller as well. Now, I created my own HTML helper that generates a login link on my page. And I'm using that one here. But if you look at the signature of this method, it takes the controller, then the action. Whereas in my view, I said, okay, that's the action and that's the controller. So this is a runtime error. I will never catch this during development. Typically, when I run it, it will complain about the controller not being found and give me a yellow screen of death. I don't want that. I would like this there. So what I can do is, that's the wrong one, is add an annotation in there and say that this is an ASP MVC controller and this is an ASP MVC action. And I should add the brackets as well. And right now I get inspections that tell me like the index controller and the home action don't exist. You have to swap them. And I also get completion where it shows me all the controllers that I have, and I can add my index method in there as well. Now these things, I wanted to show this in ASP.NET MVC because that's where it makes a lot of sense. But this is powered by annotations, works in ReSharper by the way as well. And annotations are really cool because they also allow you to do things like saying that the action cannot be null. If I now call this action and say I'll pass in null, I get an inspection saying that this is a null assignment to an entity that has a null attribute. So I can add a lot of attributes, basically improving code completion and improving the engine that is in Rider and ReSharper to make it a little bit smarter. These things are kind of special. They come from a library that you can install either through NuGet or from the settings, copy the code into your own project. The code that is generated, as well as the NuGet package, are debug only. So if you compile it in release mode, there will be no trace of these attributes at all. just do not pollute your runtime stuff. It's really meant for just development time. Right, that's, yeah, a little bit of that. Maybe since we're in the website, a couple more things. When editing code, there's a trick where I can inject languages in strings. It's probably not something you want to do, but it's something that sometimes you have to do. For example, do some JavaScript where you say, I want to embed an alert that I then pass on to my view and then do something with. Well, if I do this, again, it's a runtime error. I want to catch this while developing. So what I can do is Alt-Enter and say that this string is of type JavaScript. And all of a sudden, I get code completion and highlighting, and also inspections saying that you should have a semicolon there. And by the way, you don't have a variable named hello, so I should actually make this a string. And I get that inspection. Works in ReSharper as well. This only works on my machine. If you check out this project, it won't work. What I can do is also say the language of the next variable will be JavaScript. And now if you check out this source code, it will know that the string is JavaScript. Works for JavaScript. Works for CSS as well, for example. So if I mark this one as CSS, it will give me code completion and highlighting. And if I say that the color, for example, has to be something, it will give me a list of all the colors that are available in CSS and completes the thing that I have in there, give me code completion, checks, and so on. Nice thing is that my X style or my X class in CSS will now also be picked up by search. But probably because there's too many things in here, it doesn't find it yet. I should probably give it a better name. But anyway, it should find those things in the mixer as well.
Does it work for SQL?
Should I say this? Okay, everyone watching the recording, please cover your ears. Yes, it will work for SQL. Not right now, but it will come. So the idea is, I will show you the database editor later on, but the idea is if you use Dapper, for example, to access your database, the idea will be that you can mark a string as SQL, and you will get code completion on SQL and even tables and columns and so on that you have in your database. So not there yet, but it will come. Maybe one more that may also be.
Is it a plugin thing to add additional kinds of languages?
Not right now, no.
Okay.
We have regular expressions, HTML, JSON, JavaScript, CSS, and XML. SQL will come. And path references is also a nice one, where you can say that, for example, this is a path reference where I'm on my C users. Why is this not working?
Because you're not using the Mac.
Probably no. But anyway, it should give me completion about this.
You should add SQL text strings conversion to link. That would be nice.
Yeah, but that may be really giving interesting results where your queries are optimized and so on. So, yeah. So maybe one more as a last thing. Rider and ReSharper already know about a lot of language injections. So if you use methods that are known to accept, for example, a regex.match will expect a regular expression. I have my inputs and then I have my pattern. But it will know that the pattern is a regular expression and give me code completion on the regular expression and give me the regular expression highlighting and checking as well. We didn't add the, so ReSharper has this one where you can also check a regex. So if you select a regex, you can say, okay, I want to test my regular expression, you get a dialog and you can test it out as well. Not yet in Rider. What we did add, and that's very, very important, is tools generated GUIDs. So if you want to generate a GUID at some point, you can do so. A lot of people asked for this one to have the dialog that you also have in Visual Studio. We added it, but also there is a live template where you can say in GUID, it will give you a new GUID in the same syntax as well. So the dialog is kind of cumbersome if you get this out of the box. So yeah, that's pretty much it for language injections. Maybe, yeah, I'm in a code base, so I can just write something. Let's say I have an array of numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. Rider comes with templates to do for eaches, for example. So I can do a for each. It will give me the numbers, I select number, and then go back, say this is a bar or an int, and then make this I, for example, and start doing this thing. But notice that I had to tap a couple of times, name all these properties and so on. We also have postfix completion, where you can just say numbers dot for each. It will generate this thing for me, and I can just start typing. So that's nice to have. One other nice to have there is, let's say I have a public enum foo, and it has bar and some ridiculous values, possible values as the enumeration. What I can do now is say I have a private void test foo, and it takes the foo, just ridiculous code. Anyway, I can do a foo dot switch, and it will generate not a lot for me. But if I go to my switch, I can generate the switch enable as well. It will generate those things for me, which is also kind of nice to have. I think if you do pattern matching with the is syntax in C# as well, you can generate a switch statement like this as well. There's a number of postfix completions, and again, it depends on the type of variable that you have at hand. So for example, this one is not enumerable, so it will only show you the switch. I could use a true.if, for example, because that's a Boolean value that I can check on, so it will generate the if statement for me and things like that. So that's I think that's it for postfix templates. Another interesting thing in Rider is that it comes with scratches. So you may have seen in the Solution Explorer this scratches and consoles thingy. What I can do is generate temporary files with a certain syntax. So for example, I can create a new let's do it like this, a new C# file, and that one will be added as a scratch. It's not part of my solution, but maybe I'm writing some code that I want to do some testing with, and I can write, for example, a new class. Let's go with foo again, and then add a property, int ID, things like that. This is not in my project yet, but maybe I need a scratchpad to test a couple of things. Well, I have my scratchpad here. Nice thing is that I can also select these things, Alt-Enter, and send it to C# Interactive. So I now have my class in there, and I can create a new foo equals new foo, and I can even say that the ID should be, it's indeed right, 1. And if I now done my foo, you will see, should be lowercase, yeah. You will see that it actually gives me the ID. Code completion in C# Interactive, by the way, is not 100% there yet, so sometimes code completion is wrong, but that is because of the nature of C# Interactive, where things can just change whenever you press the enter. But it is in there. Another nice thing is that let's add a class, yeah, whatever. I can reference projects in here as well, so if I reference my web project, I now have a reference to my web project, and if I say for let's add a new class. Yeah, I referenced it before. Anyway, the idea that I wanted to show you, but my demo skills are failing right now, is that I can reference existing projects, and I can also debug C# Interactive, which means that if I reference my project, put a breakpoint to my project, I have the debugger, and I can just invoke something from C# Interactive and have it call into my project, and I can step through. It makes it easy to test a couple of things. So yeah, I didn't really want to go in C# Interactive, but Scratches brought me there. Now that we are with Scratches, let's change the order of the demos a little bit. So I have C# Interactive. There's other Scratch types as well. So if I do Control-Shift-Alt-Insert, I get different languages of Scratches that I can add in my project. Now, many applications nowadays are making HTTP calls to some API, whether it's local or remote. What I can do is create an HTTP Scratch. And then I get syntax highlighting for HTTP and say that I want to accept text HTML. I can select this and then run it. And then I can get back the results. I can see the results. And the nice thing is that the Scratch is saved in my Rider workspace. So if tomorrow I want to rerun this request, I can just open the Scratch from here and rerun the request. Those Scratches, I can in there. I should be able to drag and drop them in my solution as well. So if I want to share one of those HTTP Scratches with a colleague, you can do so as well, so they can test the API that you're working on, for example. Right, so yeah, that's Scratches in a nutshell. Version control, any of you using USB drives to copy around files and give them to colleagues? I hope not.
And even if we would do, we would not tell you.
Yeah, I guess so. Well, Rider comes with source control, so you get VCS and you get version control. I only enabled VSTS, Git and Team Foundation services and Git, but if you go to the plugins, if you first install Rider the first time, you will see that there is CVS. I really hope you're not using that one either, but if you need it, it's there. There is Subversion integration, there is Mercurial that you can enable, and I even think if you browse the JetBrains, I kind of hope it's not in there. But yes, if you're using SourceSafe, you can also install SourceSafe. So that one is there as well. Version control is kind of nice. It's somewhat version control system agnostic, so it doesn't really matter if you're using Git or whatever. Of course, there are specific commands to Git that don't apply to Subversion and so on, so those things will show. But most of the things are common to various source control systems. So if I do Control-Alt-Q, because I made some changes, I will get all the operations that I have with my current system, and I can, for example, say I want to push things or I want to commit, and I can commit to source control, add a commit message, rearrange code, whatever I want to do when committing, and add that thing into source control. That's a nice thing. So that's version control. Everything you would expect from version control is in there. Bonus points for a really, really fast search log. So as you know, we index everything in your project. We also index your entire commit history. So if you search, for example, for, let's say, the word OCD, if you do this in any source control client, it will be slow as hell because there's many, many commits. In here, because we index it, the results will be almost instantaneous, and you will see that there's a lot of OCD commits in Nancy, apparently. One thing is that there's also a console. So if you are using Git, for example, and you want to learn the command line as well, you can do things in Rider, and if you switch to the console, you will see the commands that Rider actually made in the background, and learn from the different commands that you maybe want to run yourself.
Can I also punch in my own commands if I want to do it on the command line?
I actually never tried that. No.
Feature.
but
I would also like to have such a feature, definitely.
But there is, if you search for a terminal, there is a terminal where you can run Git commands and so on. So yes, you can, but not from the version control tool window.
Okay.
If you dislike, by the way, the standard Windows command line, you can also, from the settings, pretty much everything can be changed in Rider. You can change the terminal to, for example, PowerShell, if you prefer PowerShell, or if you have Bash for Windows installed, and I think I have, I can even change it, open the terminal, and now I have bash for Windows right there. So those things work as well.
Definitely very nice.
I'll reset back because I like my command line to just be. Anyway, so that thing is back now. Right. By the way, you can also open multiple terminals if you are a multitasker, and you can even rename the tabs. Here I am doing cool stuff. You can do that as a note to self on what you want to be doing. Anyway, back to version control. Are you multitaskers or not? And by that I mean you're working on a bug report or a feature and some new bug report comes in and they ask you to quickly watch at that. What do you typically do? You stash your changes, or you do something, or create your own branch and commit there and then work on the other thing. If you know that the bug that you want to work on could be inspected on your current branch that you are on, what you can do in the version control tab is create a change list. So I can create, I have to do it here apparently. Come on. The shortcut is gone. Anyway, I can create a new change list and call it bug123, for example. And I can set it to active and track the context. Not very special. The only thing that changed is I have my default thingy here and my bug123. If I now start making changes, let's say I want to drop those usings and so on, you will see that those changes are associated with bug123. And if I now commit, I can just commit those changes from bug123, and I even get the commit message, which is the name of my change set that I had. I can shelve those change lists as well. This is not related to Git or Subversion. This is really something in Rider to sort of track which change goes with which set of changes that I'm working on. Nice thing is, those change lists, right now I created them manually. But if I go to the issue tracker integration in the settings, I can add integration. Come on. I didn't install the plugin, that's the reason why. Anyway, I can install an issue tracker integration as well, where if I check out something from TFS or I start working on a GitHub issue, that thing will be the name of my change list, and it will be really related to that specific bug or issue that you wanted to start working on. Maybe one more in the source control department. You come to work by car, metro, bus. Anyway, the example I typically give is, imagine you are commuting to work on the train and you have a 1 hour train drive to go to work. Sometimes you just go like, it's boring on the train, I'll open my laptop, start working on something, and I, for example, start adding some properties here and say, this is an interface, so that's not going to be very useful, but let's say I also add a class, let's call it as, because I have too many foods already, void food, I can add it there, and I start writing some code or some else. And then I arrive at work, and I arrive at work a little bit late because that happens with public transport and so on. And my manager runs in and goes like, you have to drop everything what you are doing, we have a production issue, and start working. In panic, not having had your first coffee yet, what you do is trash everything or even go to version control and just undo all the changes that you made, and your changes are gone. In the evening, you go back home and you go like, okay, those changes from this morning, I would like to continue on them, but I didn't branch, I didn't stash, I removed them. I had a Windows update and my machine restarted, they're gone, right? Well, no. Rider has local history, where it keeps track of all the changes that you make, whether it's a refactoring, whether it's a manual change or whatever, it will keep track of those changes across sessions of Rider. So it will give me was writing this in my IV on JetBrains. So it should give me the changes that I just made in there. It could be that I was just too quickly and yeah, okay, they show. So I had this public class buzz. Well, I can re-add it and continue work on that thing. Add this one as well, and those usings I removed, so that can go as well. And I'm back at my state of this morning when I entered the building. That also works, by the way, if you do a refactoring and you say, for example, I want to rename this one and let's make it Baz. Yeah, change everything, whatever. If I go to my local history now, changes will be tracked across files because maybe I was already using my class. Well, the change list will give me the notion that I ran a refactoring. Right now, because it was in one file, I don't see it, but if it's a refactoring that touches multiple files, I will even see the word renaming there, so that you can see this was related to that rename refactoring that I executed. Right, how much time do I have left by now?
I'd say we'll stop at 7:30 and go have some food.
All right.
If that's okay with you.
Yeah, perfect. So, in that
So
case,
it's unlimited, this lot of, I mean, it's a lot of stuff, a lot of
I
data.
can just keep going.
Yeah.
So, I'll give you the choice. It's easy because there's only 3 of us. We have 1, which is debugging. We have 2, which is the database tool window. We have 3, which is random tools. And we have 4, which is plugins. Any preference? Debugging, yeah. Let's maybe do these 2, and then I'll give you one pointer to some of the others. Okay. Let's maybe start with those random tools. We have solution-wide analysis, where you can see all errors in the solution, just like in ReSharper. We have unit test coverage. If you have a ReSharper Ultimate license, you also get code coverage and so on, and you can even see code coverage in there. We have unit testing, where you can see unit tests and run your unit tests, and you have all those things that you have in ReSharper as well. The NuGet tool window, which didn't work in my example, we have the To-Do Explorer. Just like in ReSharper, you can look at your to-dos, run through your to-dos and so on. There's TypeScript errors that you can see if you have TypeScript files in your project. There's Docker integration, you can even debug Docker. We've already seen scratches where you can do HTTP calls and those things. If you don't think there's tools enough in Rider, you can always go to the settings, find the plugins, and install either JetBrains plugins and 2 additional things. Like for example, if you do Node.js, you can as well, that one is actually already in there, but say you do the TOML language, I have no idea what it is, you can install it and you get language support for that one. If you don't have enough tools, there's even third-party plugins that you can install. So for example, if you work with .NET Core and user secrets, this plugin makes it possible to work with user secrets, put them in the correct file and things like that.
Don't forget Power Mode.
There's Power Mode as well. I will not show it. I will give that as homework. There is the plugin called Power Mode 2. Install that one and you will feel empowered. If you feel really adventurous, there's the Nyan progress bar, which is also fun stuff because it replaces all the progress bars with the Nyan cats and rainbows. Maybe one that is interesting is if you don't like the standard white theme, and we have a black theme as well, there's a really cool material theme. I will show it in the browser because it takes a while to install and so on, but the basic idea is that it gives you different colors, different spacing in menus and in tabs and so on, and it has a light version, a dark version and so on. So if you dislike the standard Java-ish UI that Rider gives you, you can install the material theme as well, and that's really nice. There's also that I discovered the Doki Doki theme. I discovered this one yesterday. It's quite interesting because it makes everything pink and adds rainbows and
Great.
strange things. Useful stuff. Code glance is a nice one if you like to have an overview of your entire code in a file. It add something to the progress bar where you can see the file structure and so on. So that's it for tooling and randomness. That was really quick. Cool. Let's start with the database, because that's right now still easy. There's a database tool window where you can connect to a data source of many types. So whatever type you have, you can connect to it. So let's say you want to connect to Azure. All you have to do is enter your credentials and connection details. Sometimes install a driver. If you haven't done so, that's just one click, but we cannot bundle it because of licensing and so on. And then test the connection and you're good to go. Right here, I have a SQLite database because it's nice and portable. I can export the schema and so on that is in there. I can jump to console and do some stuff and run a query, for example. Let's say select star from person. I can select everything, run that query, and get an exception. Awesome. I know why this is. I installed the stable version and I didn't install the driver. So let's do that. As you can see, it's just clicking and waiting for the download to finish, and then that's way better. It will give me back the data from my database. The things you would expect, I can edit tables as well. So if I want to modify my table, for example, I get the columns here as well. It looks like standard SQL syntax, but it is actually a nice UI where I can add a new column. I can specify the type and you get completion on the type that is there as well. You can add defaults and all those things, and it will generate the alter statements for me. I can replay them against the database or store them in a SQL file if I want. Related question could be, what about Entity Framework? Yeah, a lot of people are using Entity Framework. If you're using .NET Core, .NET EF is your friend. Install the Entity Framework command line tools and do that. If you're Entity Framework 6, for example, right-click your project, go to Tools, Entity Framework, and you see Enable Migrations, Add Migrations, all those things. One more maybe in the database editor. So we try to be smart with completion for many things. So let's say if we want to add person.star and address.star, I can say from person sp, inner join address 8 on the address. Because there's foreign keys, the completion will already know that this is the most logical way of what I want to achieve, and I can just complete it and get that. Maybe one more in terms of databases. If I would run this query, I get back my data. That's nice. I can also export my data to another database, or I can dump my data to a file or to clipboards. By default, the data extractor will be SQL insert. So if I copy to clipboard, I get insert statements for a table that is that shape. If I want to make that, for example, JSON, well, what I can do is dump data to clipboards, and now I get JSON of all the things that I had. So it's really easy to export some things and import some things in and out here.
I used a website which more or less converts the JSON sample results to C# classes. Is something like this integrated?
Well, you can write a plugin for that if you want. It's not in there, okay. But I've seen code that does this, so you could write a plugin that does this. Oh, by the way, let's return once more to strings. If I paste the JSON in a string, you will see that it's errors out, but it will also give me an Alt-Enter where I can say this is actually JSON, and I can escape the string as well, if I want, just as a quick side note. Now that I have a bunch of JSON on my clipboards. Right, let's do one more, debugging, because I feel you are ready to head out. Let's open this project, because it's nice and simple. Right, this project, what does it do? It reads JSON from a file, it then converts it into a list of people, and then prints those people using print people method, which iterates through my people collection, and then calls into print person, just to have a little bit of code. If I run this thing, you will see it's the most boring sample application that just returns some names and lets me press enter. Now, I can add breakpoints and I can start debugging, just like you would expect. And it will stop at some point. We've already seen that the debugger will show you the value of variables. I can use the debugger display attribute, if you're familiar with that one, if you want to see something different. Now the nice thing is that I can just step through and see things, well, 3 people have been deserialized, so that's nice without having to look down here. Although I can look down and look at my list of people. And just like I told you, you can search in tool windows. If I want to search for Matt, for example, I can just start typing and it will find that one in my collection as well as in the string that I initially parsed. Now, you will also see that we automatically give you the return values of the functions that you called. So I called into JSON convert.deserialize objects. Well, I can see the return value of that thing, and I can even expand it if I want. So that's kind of nice. Now let's step into, I can do that as well, and now I can see my call stack and I can go back and see what is happening and the variables that are in memory at every location, and I can step through and do whatever I want. Now, because I'm enumerating and I stepped into my enumerator, you will see that external code was decompiled and I'm now also debugging into external code.
Is it possible to skip lines during debugging session?
Yeah.
By dragging the.
So I'm now back here, and if you're a mouse person, you could say I want to go there, and you start there.
Okay.
If you're a keyboard person, what you can do is say Alt Enter. Ah, come on. What is this? Anyway, I should be able to do Alt Enter and set next statement at this position. Right now I will show you that.
But dragging grabs a lot of.
Yeah. Under the Run menu, there should also be Run to statement and things like that to move through everything that you have. Now, one of the things that we also have in the debugger is that we give you the console, of course, of what you are seeing. If you're doing anything multi-threaded, you will see multiple threads and their stacks as well. And we also try to give you an idea of which classes are in memory. This is not a memory profiler, but it should give you an idea of what is currently in memory in your application. So, for example, I can see there's many strings in there, but there should also be a person array in there and person classes and so on. And if I step through, I will see the difference between the previous time that I was in this tool window to get at least a basic idea of what is happening there. It's not a full profiler, but some idea. Now, breakpoints are kind of cool because they have various options. I can say they don't have to suspend my application. Maybe do that. Let's say I want to not suspend when I print people, but I want to evaluate loaded people and say people.count and write that to a debug console. When I restart my application, this breakpoint will no longer be hit, but instead, in my debug output, I will see the string that I was just typing. It will say, okay, I actually passed this breakpoint. I'm not pausing the application, but at least I can see that this breakpoint was hit. Conditional breakpoints as well, what you would expect from a debugger. A couple of other interesting things. I can add exception breakpoints as well. So if an exception, any exception, for example, happens, I can do so. Or I can say I want to add just for argument null exception, for example. I can pause on those. For every breakpoint, I can also say that, for example, if I'm debugging a for each loop, I only want to break when this iteration happened more than 1,000 times. So that you don't have to do 1,000 times F5, you can actually stop at iteration 1,000. You can make it a temporary one, remove once hit, where it will hit once, and the next time it will just ignore the breakpoint. And a nice one is that you can also disable the breakpoint by default until another one is hit. So imagine you have some timer that ticks continuously and you are interested in a breakpoint there, but you only want to know this when some button was clicked first. You can make those breakpoints dependent, and if you click the button, this breakpoint will actually start hitting from that point in time. Maybe one interesting thing that we have in there as well. Say that we have a list of tasks and we make it a new list of tasks. Let's say task.factory.
So maybe the bug features are useless because I never made mistakes.
You don't usually find mistakes. You have never seen a mistake made by you.
So imagine I'm doing something like this, where I have a list of tasks and I say to lists, I want to do that thing, and then task dot wait all for this task, and if I'm not mistaken, I should be able to make that a regular array. Yes, okay. So I'm running 3 concurrent tasks of print people. And now let's say I'm interested in when I actually hit print person. And if I would run this one, what I will see is that my breakpoint will hit, but it will hit with Maarten. And then I continue, and it hits again with Maarten. And again, because the tasks are running concurrently and I just hit all those breakpoints. Well, I'm actually only interested in one of those. So what I can do is right-click my breakpoint and say suspend only on my current threads by default. And from now on, if I continue, I will only see that iteration on that specific thread and no longer the other threads around there. And then continue the rest of the execution.
Very useful.
Yeah. Maybe one more, and then we'll go to the end. Let's say I want to print people, but I also want to filter people, which will just return my methods, and then I like clean people, so let's do clean people as well. Remove some items and so on. So let's make that methods, and this one will also return a list of person, because it will actually return people. And let's add that filter people method as well, just so we have a nice example of what you could see in code base. I'm interested in a breakpoint here, and I'm interested in print people. Now, normally, if I would debug this one, what will happen is that, now my tasks will run, great. Let's remove that one. What will happen is if I press F11, I want to step into print people. So normally, I would have to think about going into print people, then placing the breakpoint there. Because if I press F11, I will go into clean people, and then go into filter people, and only then go into print people, right? Well, if I restart the debugger here, what I also can do is do a smart step into it. I always forget the shortcuts. It's F11. No, it's not F11. Start again. That's the normal step into. Smart step into Shift F7. It will give me a list of all the methods that I have in the call chain, and I can select which one I'm interested in. So if I say I'm interested in print people, the other ones will execute, and I immediately arrive in print people. Works like that, but the nice thing is that I can also place my breakpoints. And do things like people.where and then to lists, or to array or something like that, and then to lists. What will happen is if I run this one, I can even step into the where condition there, if I do smart step into. So Shift F7 should give me the constructor of my where class, and I can jump into that one and go through that. So I get all those things as well. And the nice thing is that if I place a breakpoint there, it will also ask me to place a breakpoint on the where class, for example. So that whenever I run through this thing, it will give me the true a couple of times and show me even in the debugger what the current X in my lambda statement is. So a couple of nice things that are in the debugger. So apart from that, if you know ReSharper and Rider, then great. You will probably already know a lot of the shortcuts. Quick recap: Control-T, finding things. Alt-Enter is doing things. And that's pretty much it, because if you do Alt-Enter and you say refactor, you also get the refactor this menu, for example, and you can do a refactoring on wherever you are in the editor. Want to learn Rider? There's tips and tricks on the website as well. If you want to learn shortcuts, we have a productivity guide under the help menu, which will keep track of all the different things that you do and how many times you do them using the mouse. And it will give you a nice explanation of how you can use it using a keyboard shortcut, for example. Okay. So that's a good one to have as well. One that you also may be interested in installing is in the plugins. There's a plugin called Presentation. It's going to be in the, or did I already install it? No, and it's going to be here. There's a plugin called Presenter Modes, Presentation Assistant. If you install that one, every single time you do something that has a shortcut, a green pop-up will show in the bottom showing you what the shortcut for that action is. So if you want to get fluent with the keyboard, that's a really good one to add. And I think it also allows you to select the key map, so if you're on a Mac, it will show you the Mac shortcuts as well. So that's, in a nutshell, what Rider can do. I hope, at least, that it wasn't all marketing and it was also a little bit useful in terms of how you can work with it. This is marketing, but all you have to remember is I'm Maarten Balliauw. That's where you can download a trial and do give it a try.
But what does it cost if you try this?
I don't know by heart, but let's open websites. So in terms of licensing, I don't know if you know how the licensing at JetBrains works. There's two different types of licenses. There's the individual customer license, which is personal, and there's a business license. The big difference is business license gives you a company purchase, and if you leave the company still owns the license. Whereas with a personal license, you own the license, so if the company buys the individual license, you can keep the license.
So if I leave my company, the company's dead because I'm the, the only one. But this also means that you can use a personal license for writing.
No problem. It's subscription based, so you will have discounts starting with the second year. So it gets cheaper and cheaper the longer you stay with us. There's Rider alone. There's ReSharper Ultimate plus Rider if you want .cover, or you still need ReSharper, or you want to have .memory and .trace all the profilers. You can get the combination bundle there as well. And if you have more than one of our IDEs, then maybe the all products pack could be interesting, because typically if you need 2 IDEs, that is the interesting choice.
Is it also with the perpetual fallback?
Yes, yeah. So you get the perpetual fallback if you just purchase 1 year and then stop. You have a license for that version. You no longer get upgrades, but you get that version forever.
What is the license price for IntelliJ? Isn't it more than 2?
So it is in the all products pack, and let's look. I don't know the prices by heart. So that's how you can see that I'm a really good salesman. So individual, yeah, it's comparable to Rider, and that's why I say if you have that price for Rider and that price for IntelliJ, then probably all products pack is more interesting.
Okay.
Is there an overview? What's in the all products pack, or is it really all?
Yeah. So you get the overview of all products, and it's basically all of the IDEs. Everything you find under tools is in there except for the team tools. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Great.
Any other questions?
I mean, for me, I would wait a little bit more longer for the better Xamarin support, because this is for me much more interesting.
If you want to give it a try and you feel like I want to give feedback, please do. Would be really welcome. But
A friend of us who often joins this meetup group sadly couldn't come today, but he bought Rider, and I would talk with him and his experience.
I still have, I think, 1 or 2 licenses because we got them from, I think, Natalia for the user group, and I can give one to you. So
that would be great.
There's always
Because
trials as well.
I did some stuff parallel, and it shut down after 30 minutes. Trial license expired.
But yeah, there's lots of options. And your company is probably already a little bit older, but if you're still younger than 2 years, then you can also get 50%.
No. Either me nor my company is. You have to follow this one.
All right.
I was not in a project, I'm in a coding school, so I get it for free.